Well, flu season is in near full swing, and right now more people are getting sick earlier than usual. So we brought in Dr. Mike Sevilla from the Family Practice Center of Salem to discuss some tips on how you and your family can stay healthy this winter. And good morning, Dr. Mike.
Good morning,
Thanks so much
Connor.
for being here.
Thank you.
So flu season, we're seeing it a little bit earlier than usual. Why is that?
Well, I think that it's a number of reasons. I think it's just some of the viruses that are out there now. We're seeing some of that earlier now. You're seeing some more hospitalizations that you've seen in the past at this time of year. So that's why it's really important just to kind of recognize what the signs and symptoms are and what people who are at risk are.
And some of those wife tales that go back and forth between, maybe it's just seniors or kids, but who actually is most at risk for the flu?
So when I talk to my patients, the people most at risk for the flu are, people over 65, kids, especially, 2 years and younger, pregnant women, especially in people, those with chronic medical conditions, especially, diabetes and liver disease and those type of things.
And what are some of those early signs and symptoms? I know that it can be very commonly confused with the common cold at first. I had the flu about 2 years ago, and it felt like a normal cold, but then turned into a lot worse.
Yeah, so the main difference is that the symptoms come on very quickly, and it's fever, it's chills, it's muscle aches, it's cough, and it feels like, and I've had it a couple of times, it feels like you just feel like run over, and when you have these symptoms, it's important to see your doctor right away, get the proper testing, and see if you actually have the flu.
And if there are one or multiple things that you would recommend doing to stop the spread of flu, what would you recommend and why?
Well, it's not too late, to get your flu shot. Especially, as we tell everybody, careful hand washing, you're coughing into your elbow, and if you're sick, maybe want to think about maybe, going, back to work or even to, some still holiday parties now. So those are things that you can really do to help prevent the spread of the flu.
Yeah, that was going to be my last quick question here. If they feel like that they are getting the flu, should they go to work?
Well, you should try not to spread it, so I would recommend, probably not.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Mike. You'll be back in our next hour to talk more about the flu. Flu season is in near full swing, and right now more people are getting sick earlier than usual. So we brought in Dr. Mike Sevilla from the Family Practice Center of Salem to discuss some tips on how you can keep you and your family healthy this winter. Good morning, Dr.
Good morning, Connor.
So tell us a little bit about why are people getting sick earlier than usual this year?
Well, sometimes it just happens in this flu season. It usually peaks in a few weeks, but we're seeing more and more cases now. So it's really important just to kind of recognize, who is at risk and what the signs and symptoms are.
Now, here locally, have you seen any huge kind of impacts already, more than usual for you?
Well, we're seeing in some of the hospitals here that there are some of the influenza strains, especially influenza B, that is a little bit more prevalent in the state and also nationally. So that's something that we're really keeping track of.
And what are some of those early signs and symptoms of the flu?
So for people with the flu, it's a little different than the common cold in that the symptoms, they come on very, very quickly. People can get fever, cough, really like a lot of muscle aches, and it can get people sick very quickly, so you have to see your doctor right away.
And I know that there's a lot of talk back and forth about who's most at risk when it comes to the flu, but who actually is it?
So yeah, so people who are over 65, kids especially, 2 years and younger, pregnant women, and especially people who have chronic medical conditions like diabetes and those type of things. Definitely check with your doctor to see who is at your high risk group.
And there's many different ways that you can prevent it, but what are some of the best ways?
So the best way, it's still not too late, to get your flu shot. And also, if you start to have some symptoms, careful hand washing, cough into your elbow, and if you are sick, and very ill, you may want to think about, not going to work or still not going to, some of the holiday gatherings that are still going on. So just think with that. And also, if there's any questions, check with your doctor right away.
And then lastly, is it too late to get your flu shot?
It is never too late to get your flu shot. There are different types of flu shots. For the older people, it's a different type of flu shot, and for everybody else, it's different. But definitely check with your doctor to see what's going to be best for you.
All right, Dr. Mike Sevilla from the Family Practice Center of Salem joining us this morning talking all things flu. Thank you, Dr. Mike.
Thank you.